if reposted.
Today's quote makes me think of musicals. I feel like so many musicals on Broadway talk about finding your purpose in life. I was wondering about this. Does everyone have a purpose in life? I think it's interesting. There's so many articles, a lot of them are religiously based. Um, I'm not sure that everyone has a purpose in life, in that everyone is worried about their circle of influence. So people I've never met don't have a purpose in my life, and I don't have a purpose in their life. So, I mean,
You don't
if
know
you
yet,
look
though.
at it as
Maybe.
What?
Maybe they might have a purpose. You don't know yet.
Well, I don't know yet, but also with I don't know the number, 6 billion people in the world. I'm probably not going to meet most of them, and they don't have a purpose. So I think in a macro sense, some people are just here and they're not going to contribute. That's a negative
I would just
spin,
like to
but I'm
conduct
curious what you think of that.
someone you might have not met yet might still be the most influential person to come into your life. However, I would like to set a premise for this discussion before we get going. My premise with this is right. There's no real answer to this question, but is it useful to talk about this if there is no real right or wrong answer to this question? That's kind of the premise of it.
Right. I mean, also, I don't want to mix this up with what's the meaning of life, because I think that's a different question. I think purpose is kind of the word that I'm focusing on. Some people, you can make the argument for anything that it might just not have happened yet, but I'm going to submit that what it, I guess I don't even really know what point I'm making, but like people are out there, they don't necessarily have a purpose in my life. I think people can have a purpose for their lives, but you're not going to affect everyone.
You know, I've heard this one a lot. This when you sent this to me, I immediately thought of this. You meet women who've said that their entire life they've always felt like their purpose was to be a mom,
Mhm.
and then they have infertility problems and they're not meant to be, and that causes them lots of consternation and depression. Rightfully so. So you thought your purpose was one thing all of your life, and then you're not able to do it. So then, was was the purpose driving you to nothing? That's kind of a crazy question, but
Right. I think it's you have to be able to take a step back and think about what's actually happening. I guess it's that fine line of insanity and perseverance, because maybe you should move on. I mean, I guess your example, but also I know people that their purpose isn't to be a leader, and they never should be and never will be. Like, I think maybe you can't define what your purpose is. I don't know if I'm talking in circles.
it's easy to think you have a purpose if you have one. But if you don't have one, then you're like, you know what I mean? Like, for instance, like Leonardo DiCaprio. My purpose was to come and entertain people. Well, geez, I mean, you're a successful ass for 20 years. Like, it's easy to say you have one or should have had one if you have one. I don't know if I do.
Right. And I think also maybe one of the appeals to theism is that you get to say, no matter what, I do have a purpose in life. And maybe it's a more difficult conversation uh, if you don't believe in a higher power. So uh, yeah, I mean, I
Listen,
think that even if you don't have like a quote purpose, like you can still be productive, or you have a purpose for you.
I had to Google this book because of this quote. I Googled purpose driven life. I was like, oh, that book from the 80s or whatever it was. I like that.
Oh,
We got
yeah.
to find some wisdom in that purpose driven life. And the first book of the first three words of the book is it's not about you. So it's kind of a Christian-y book. I don't know how much I want to believe it, but it's not about you. And that made me think of the 12 steps. Step number 2, a higher power. So to have a purpose, do you have to somewhat relinquish the idea that the world's bigger than the universe is bigger than you? Is that like the only thing you have to have if you somewhat connect with the idea you have a purpose?
I mean, I think so. And again, I guess maybe I just woke up on the wrong side of bed, but like, let's say whatever I'm doing, I'm wildly successful at it. Like, I don't think that is my sole purpose. Maybe
Yeah.
because I've changed careers and I've changed cities so many times that I know that, I guess, kind of like, also, is there the one for you to be with? Like, I
Oh,
think it's becoming less and less popular, but like, is podcasting my purpose? Is construction my
I hope
purpose? Is
so. I
being
hope
dental
so.
assistant my
Oh,
purpose? Like,
no, I don't hope so.
so I think it's easy to look at people like Leonardo DiCaprio who once they've made it and once you're successful, once you're comfortable, be like, yeah, this is my purpose in life. Like, I don't know if they feel that deep inside during the hard times. It's just moving forward. I think you always need to be moving forward.
It does feel nice, though. I think this is kind of a crazy topic because there's no right or wrong answer, but I think it does have some mental exercises to go through. But it does feel nice in life when you feel like what you're doing is purposeful and is bringing meaning to your life and the universe in general. So I understand this idea of feeling you have a purpose. Like that's a great feeling.
It is a really great feeling, and I've felt that that was the case. I've also felt that it wasn't, but also I think thinking you have a purpose is living not in the moment as much. I think it's more of the future. Like, this is what I should be doing. It's not I am doing this right now. So uh, I guess making another point on it, like, if you're worried about your purpose, maybe you're not really actually living it.
I also think what you're saying, though, and you've said this a couple times now, I'm just picking up on it, your purpose can change.
For sure. And maybe don't worry so much about the definition of what your purpose is. Just do stuff, and if you like it, or oh,
Bingo square!
square.
Do stuff! You must do stuff!
Yeah, I feel like I've been sliding around all day, so that's all I got on purpose. My purpose today was to slip and slide around this question.
Well, I definitely have lots of purposes. Most numerously is to drink bourbon. I feel like I was put on this earth to drink bourbon. So there you go.
Well, if you have a shot at tequila, please reach out. You can
No,
find
bourbon.
us at Reposted Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. I'm Andrew Keller for Captain Jack Sparrow. Saying thanks for stopping by.